Welcome back, everybody. Very excited to talk to our next guest. You guys know I've been waiting for this for a very, very long time. The UFC is finally coming back to Miami. UFC 287, Miami-Dade Arena on April 8th. And this is the man who made it happen. Gamebred joining us here, Jorge Masvidal. First of all, George, thank you for making this happen. You're the man. You've talked about this for a while, man. You made it happen. What does it mean, man, that you finally are going to be on a card in the 305?
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's very euphoric. I witnessed the UFC live for my first time when they came to my own city 20 years ago. I was 17, about to turn 18, and I was an amateur already in the sport. And I knew everything about UFC already at that point, as much as anybody can know. Like, whatever nerd though you could find like in baseball or football, I like ate them alive in my sleep when it came to like stats and knowing who was what and what they trained and this and that. From like 12 to like 18 is all that captivated me. So I was there in the event, and the nostalgia was real. And I was watching these guys that I've been watching for like 4 or 5 years. Like, oh my gosh, so-and-so's about to fight, and it was a great card. Rich Franklin fought in it. Sean Shirk, man, it was like a freaking great card, and the turnout wasn't great, but at the time I wasn't thinking about that. I was so in tune into the fights. But then after I got over the nostalgia and stuff, I remember I was still an amateur, and I remember saying it to myself, like, I could do this. I could do this for the rest of my life, and I'm going to bring this show back. They're going to come here another time, and it's going to be the red. Your boy right here, because nobody on the card, not one person on that card was from Dade County. Not one person on the card from Miami. Born and raised Dade County Chico. So it was a no-brainer for the UFC. Like, we want to conquer Miami. Who do we got to talk to? So UFC was talking to me for a minute. It's not easy to negotiate with me, because I like my money just like the UFC, but we got it done. We came to a firm agreement that I'm happy at. They're happy, and let's go forward and kick some ass. UFC's taking very, very good care of me for this fight, and for in many ways, I always want to bring the show, but in many ways, I was also accustomed to home being the road, and wherever that was at, I was so comfortable because it's the same thing. I'm gonna get on a plane, I'm gonna get to a hotel, and I'm gonna fight. I don't care where it's at, Just give me proper time to prepare, get my night and days right, because it's a time difference. So I need like 10 days where I'm gonna fight at, but I'm ready to go. The road is my home, and I still say that, So now coming to Miami, it's like extra added pressure. Like, actually, I don't know if I want to come to Miami UFC, and they're like, no, okay, we'll make it work, So it's truly just nothing but a blessing. I've been getting myself in shape for a long time already. So when the news came already, I was in pretty decent shape. Now I would say I'm in great shape. Come April 8th, it's going to be nothing but violence, man. And, I'm also 38. I've been doing this for like 20 years. So this fight means more than any other fight in my world, because there is a time where you got to say, like, man, I'm not as good as I was. I'm not as sharp as I was. I'm not this, that. This fight points me in like the right direction. Like, if I can't be Gilbert, man, maybe I got to stop considering why I'm doing this, because I only did this for 2 reasons since I signed up: to be the best in the world and to make the most money possible. Every time I got out there and fought, each and every fight, I've only gone up in money. Whether I've lost or not, I've only made more money. So it only makes sense that I'm only doing those 2 things, right? So if I, I'm not saying I'm retiring after this fight, but if things don't go my way and exactly how I want, I got to start thinking about other options. So that makes me think this could be my last fight, or one of my last fights. So I've been giving it my all, man. Especially being in my city, like, you're gonna have to kill me, to get that victory. My fans know, people that know me know I'm gonna give it all I got. The wrestlers do give me problems, but thank goodness this guy ain't that type of wrestler. I'm gonna be able to just get in his face, stuff his takedowns, and break like the eye orbit or something, And it's nothing personal against Gil, because I like the dude a lot personally, and as a fighter, love the dude. He comes to compete, And that's all you could ask for. Somebody's like, wanting to either submit you or like knock you out. So I like that about him. But come April 8th, I'm going to put his world upside down. His mama going to have a frown. You know me, I ain't no clown.
Talking to Jorge Masvidal. Tickets available now for UFC 287, April 8th at Miami-Dade Arena. George, do you think that the emotions that night are going to be any different? Like, you talk about it, maybe the last one, you're going to be fighting in front of your family, your friends. How do you think that's going to feel? That type of emotion when you walk out there?
I got to learn to deal with that, right? Because like, it's just part of the job, man. It's crazy. You do feel it, and for the most part, there's like a group of my people that always follow me to any fight that I go. So I'll see them like before the fight, But now it's gonna be different. Like I'm not even gonna look in the crowd before I walk out because I think that every single person might be somebody that I actually like grew up with or something like that. So it might be like too much emotion to handle, you know. So I'm just gonna be tunnel vision, and I'm fighting like if I'm home, but I'm not, you know, because at the same time, what got me here is like being cautious and cold blooded in situations where people get warm blooded or hot blooded, you know. And you got to remain calm and cool when that chokehold's on. You can't panic, breathe, you know. So it's the same thing whether I'm fighting here in Miami or in a backyard or or I'm headlining MSG. It's a fight, and I can't let those things like you know. I say this now, but at the time it was like it was a lot, and I was trying not to even talk about it, and I didn't want to bring it up because President Trump was attending my event live. He was gonna be there as I was competing for this belt that The Rock was gonna wrap around the winner's waist. Like, man, I love The Rock, man. The dude's from Miami, best actor, cool dude, you know. So it's like, damn, there's a lot of craziness going on, and to make it, and like one of the cherries on top was for me was Roberto Duran, my favorite fighter of all time, that I have been trying to get to walk out with me forever, and just things kept happening, you know, that we never got to make it. Though I've always wanted to walk out with him and just like share that energy with him, and he came out to that fight, and it's like, holy smokes, are you kidding me? But leading up to the fight, I was acting so nonchalant, like, bro, I didn't even, yeah, whatever, it's cool, you know. But after that, I took all that nostalgia in, and like, wow, I can't believe that this magnitude of an event was just pulled off, you know, and it was crazy. And then I get myself a little pat, and then on to the next one, you know, which is this one right here. And whether I'm headlining in my own backyard or not, I'm gonna bring the violence because I'm in shape, my mind is right, and everything's on the line.
When the last time we talked, it was after that magical 2019, and you said it was like a movie, and you said like you couldn't even go to a Publix without getting bothered every single place. How has it been, you know, being down a few games, a few losses here, Jorge? Have you noticed the rats, you know, jumping off the ship? Has the energy felt different, and everybody going away from you, writing you off?
No, not I. You know, I travel a lot, so the energy feels great everywhere I go. But in Florida, it's like nuts. I still can't go nowhere, and it's like, you know, because I'm at the end of the day, they know I'm their boy. I'm a product of the city, and all that matters is when I go out there, I give it everything I got. I prepare myself as good as I can. I give it all I got. That's why I love my city because whether I win or lose, they hold me up. You know, and for this last fight, you know, I was very down, you know, after these last couple fights, and my city has picked me up a lot, man. Just the overwhelming amount of messages that I got of just well wishes of people telling me, man, you did this for me. You know, look at me before I was 80 pounds. I lost 40 pounds because you motivated me. You being from Miami, you being from the city, you this, you that. And it's like, damn, these are inspiring me, you know, and I can't tell you how many messages I got like that. So I just want to thank my city in a big way for just like, you know, just giving you a hand up when you kind of need it, you know, because I wasn't in the best mental space after the fight, you know, and I got 3 felonies on me. I got like 3 different lawsuits on me, all this craziness going on. So I had to wait, make sure things got done right, you know, and get my mind right, and then come back to compete with everything that I got. Every part of my being on April 8th is going to be on one task and one task alone, which is ending Gil.
And tickets are available now. You guys can get a Miami-Dade Arena April 8th. Can't wait to be in the building for this. They what? Already?
They might have.
Yeah, listen, I wouldn't be surprised, Jorge. As soon as they put you on the card, like I knew these things were going to go fast. Like you're definitely the guy to bring it back here. It's the appropriate. I want to ask you about this, man. So you had the Miami Dolphins at American Top Team this year. Were you did you get a chance to be part of that? And what was that like, if so?
So first shout out to the coach, Miami Dolphins, because I think they played their ass off. I like winning and losing is obviously we always want champions and winners. But to me, it felt like they played from here, and that's all we could ask for. And they went hard to get it. And you know what's funny is that the coach, they had brought me over there to give him a speech and just like things that have helped me get to the next level and stuff. And it was like the whole staff and all the football players. It was awesome. I got to meet all of them, but cool ass people all up and down the team. And after the speech, the coach told me, goes, man, I'm very, very confident in this team. We're gonna go far, my brother. Worst case scenario, we're making it to the playoffs. He told me this before they even had a game. This is in preseason when I went. I went to get the boys all hyped up, and I spent the whole day with them. I went to the strength and conditioning program. Then after that, their next freaking agility and ability. And he told me like over and over, like these guys are dogs. They work hard. This is not just like talent and not working. These guys understand the game as well. I'm telling you, we're gonna go far. And hats off the coach because he did it. Good job, my brother. After that, I invited them, right? Because they invited me over to their practice. Said, you got to come to my practice now. What's up? I'll set it up. Dan Lamberg is the owner of American Top Team. Dan Lamberg is a huge fan of the Dolphins, of just football in general. Loves it to death. Doesn't ever miss a game. But the Dolphins, you can't say nothing bad around him. So when he heard that he had the opportunity that the Dolphins could be coming, it was like we haven't done a red carpet launch like that for anybody, I think, ever. It was like sparring day. Okay, everything's getting moved around. When do you guys want to come? We're going to put the best matches on for you guys. You guys just sit down in these bleachers. Nobody's going to bother you guys. Enjoy. The whole team came in, the B team, the C team, the trainers, everybody, all the coaches and the assistant coaches. And, man, they had a blast. We gave them a good show. I was on the mat myself that day trying to give them like what it looks like when we're training and stuff. And there was several athletes that they competing, getting ready for world championships and stuff. So the energy in there was very like, what I'm saying, get after it, and I think they enjoyed it for the most part. From what I saw, I think they loved it,
It looked really awesome. Now, I don't know if you heard, but the quarterback, Tua, he had concussion issues this year, and he apparently is going to do judo to try and learn to fall, to control his body. What do you think of this strategy? Do you think this is something that could help, like a martial art, being able to help him avoid falling weird?
Great question. Judo would definitely help because these guys, when you're at that level of judo, they're breaking like falls that could like break your body, your arms. So in judo, you can generate a lot of impact with that gi and a lot of torque. These guys are spinning you on their hip and on their core, and then they're projecting that energy to the ground. So if you don't know how to like catch the land, a common break in judo at that level is like the sternum break. Just imagine how much that sucks. You're out for like 6 to 8 months minimum. It's this shoulder right here breaks your sternum right there. And that sucks, man. I've seen it happen in numerous judo matches, or even the ribs popping out of place. So you have to learn how to gracefully fall. So I definitely think it's a great idea. Why not? And the type of connections that he has, I'm sure, in money, he could reach out to me. Whoever he's reaching out to, he'll have the proper guy, I'm sure, in front of him teaching judo and how to break falls. And then after he does that for some time, he can go into wrestling because we break it a little different in wrestling. And then, just stay in the martial arts world because he's in a contact sport for a living, so you should be involved in some type of combat,
Jorge, how the hell did you land the whale of Roy Jones Jr. being on your boxing card?
I was just about to ask you, man, what you were doing April 1st, but you answered my question, man. I know you'll be tuning in now, dog. Let's go.
Oh, Roy, listen, I'm a Roy Jones junkie. I was like, but when I saw, I was like, I can't. Roy Jones versus Showtime. You're talking about maybe the flashiest boxer versus one of the flashiest MMA fighters of all time. How the hell did you land him?
You think you smart, man. I'm gonna have to come do your interviews more often. You're one of the few people that caught that. Not a lot of people have caught that one. That I got like Prime Pettis. What are we talking about? This guy's flying off of cages to win world titles, submitting people, in world titles. He always had so much sauce, so much athleticism to him. And then Roy Jones. I mean, do I have to say anything about Roy Jones? Like, Roy Jones is Roy Jones. He's in the category of himself. Yeah, I know there's Tyson and, that exhibition match and there, but in his prime, Roy Jones, he's on his own planet. He's just living there by himself. There's nobody in there with him. Like Sugar Ray Robinson, I'm a huge boxing fan. That was my first love before I found MMA was obviously boxing. I found it like 6, 7, and it was the same thing, like studious nerd about like boxing. And I obviously grew up idolizing Roy Jones as well as most of us combat junkies are. And I tell you, man, there's nothing like that dude in the world. His athleticism, his meanness, his rawness. That's why, I love this fight. We also have one of the meanest guys to ever step in the cage, Jose Aldo, competing against a little heathen, Jeremy Stevens. How did we pull that one up? That's a crazy one, man. That's a crazy fight.
It's a sick card, man. It's a sick card. April 1st, go check out Gamebred Boxing. It's you guys doing it in Milwaukee?
Milwaukee Bucks Arena. Tickets on Celebrity Ticketmaster. We're going to be on pay-per-view. We're going to be on Fight Pass. UFC Fight Pass. You can buy it there or on pay-per-view.
Couple more before we
Give
get
me an exclusive later.
Couple more before I get you out of here, George. You guys get your tickets now, if they're still available. UFC 287, April 8th at Miami-Dade Arena. You do have the welterweight championship coming up. Leon and Kamaru are going to rematch. If Leon wins, if he does, I mean, you versus him, it makes all the sense in the world for a title. How are you going to take that fight in, man? Like the idea of Leon, a guy you have a pass with, are you going to root for him to win? And how do you think that fight goes? How do you think the rematch goes?
You know, I described the first fight very much how I thought it would go in an interview, like 2 weeks prior to the fight, and it went very much like that, where Usman was able to control a lot of the pace and dictate it and land shots and, you know, mix it up with his wrestling and fake the wrestling and strike more. And but I knew that Leon, there's a couple of shots he could land on, and I called it on the interview. I was like, Leon wins probably by the left high kick or something like that, because I just think that Usman with his wrestling could impose himself a little bit more on Leon on more spots. And then if Leon did get an opening, it'd be something like that, like a left high kick or something like that. And sure enough, it caught him. So it showed me, like, man, my MMA math isn't too off on these guys, you know. 1, 2, I think I match up really, really, really well with Leon, because 1, he knows what these knuckles taste like, right? In the flesh, because I didn't have no gloves on when I cracked this little bitch. In the flesh, he knows what these bad boys taste like. He's seen the speed, hand straight up. He had his hands up, and I gave him the 3-piece in the soda. And he had his hands up already, ripped them. So he knows that I got next level hand speed. So it's a very good fight for me to get myself back in the mix. And, you know, movie ending, right? We go fight in my city, start all this right, and then go to what's his name's face in his city in Birmingham, whatever arena he wants to do it in England, and that's where I'm gonna kick his ass. I'm gonna bring that belt back to Miami. I'm gonna keep training my ass off, and I'm gonna defend it against everybody that comes my way. I might sound like a crazy man, you know. I got 3 losses in a row, got 3 felonies, I got 3 lawsuits, all in a year. This kind of happened, man. So it's like a lot to take in, you know, a lot of numerology weird going on there too, right? So I gotta make sure I knock this off the park, man. And I do the best when my back's up against the wall. My back's not up against the wall right now. It's like in the wall, you know? So I gotta go with everything I got to end this, man. And I'm gonna start that wish list with Gilbert. But right before that, April 1st, don't miss out my boxing event. We also got Jacare Salsa versus Beto Belfer, man. Come on, dog. What more you want, man? It's on pay-per-view and it's on UFC Fight Pass, okay? Don't tell me no excuses, bro.
Hell of a scrap. You got a busy April coming up, Jorge. Thanks so much for the time, man. All the best, healthy camp, and can't wait to see the show. April 8th, UFC 287.
Yes, sir. God bless, brother. Thank you always for having me, man.
Absolutely, man. I always appreciate you giving me time. Thank you.
Yes, sir.